It's time now for perspective. For 5 long years, up until last March, the Syrian regime, backed by Russia, conducted near-daily strikes on the rebel-held enclave of Eastern Ghouta, terrorising the local population and causing tens of thousands of people to flee. Documenting the horrors and also the human capacity to endure was local, now prize-winning photojournalist Abdulmonam Eassa. He joins me now on set. Thank you so much for coming in to speak to us here at France 24. Our pleasure. Now, you first started taking photos in 2013 in a city under siege. You had no formal training. What made you pick up a camera for the first time?
Look, like the question of the decision was to do something for the people, for the people who I grew up with them. Well, I started with a friend. We managed with a local media center to inform, to talk about what's going on the area.
And were you aware of the risks that entailed?
Like, basically, to be honest, it was big risk. At the beginning, it was not an easy mission at all. But I mean, with the time, Eastern Ghouta were under siege for over 5 years. So the experience were coming time by time. With the time was going to cover, to document the situation. Yeah, but it was not easy.
And what was life like for civilians under siege in Eastern
Like,
Ghouta?
I mean, in general, like the people, they continue their life with like daily life, daily routine bombardment. But also the people were trying to find a new alternative to continue their life under the siege. I have been working on a story about people making a fuel using the plastic material. Other people, they were celebrate of their wedding around, surrounding by building were destroyed. Yeah.
And was that out of a desire to show that, I suppose, even in the midst of horror, real life has to continue?
I mean, yeah, the real life, it exists always. Whatever, like, in such difficult circumstances, the people, they have will the life. I mean, like, for me, it was, they were said, we will not, we do not want to die, we will continue life. I think this was the message from the people.
And one of the series of photographs of yours that I found extremely affecting was a series called With Their Bare Hands.
Yeah.
Can you tell our viewers what that's about?
I mean, like the willing of the people, of like the Syrian defense civil to help people and to save them after the bombardment, after the shelling, was incredible. Like I saw youth of people from my generation who left out to bring children from under the rebel using their hand, because they were probably most of the time they were not able to use big machine to carry the people, because even when they were use the machines, they get attacked, they get chilling. So I tried to focus on the capacity of the human being.
Now, some photojournalists say that experiencing war atrocities through the lens of a camera helps them to keep a certain distance. But this is the place where you lived, where you grew up. Did you find that you were able to keep some distance, or did you feel like you were actually part of the story?
Like whatever I try to be far, I'm a part of the story. It was very difficult to make a distance between me and the people, because at the end, my own people like my neighbors, my relatives. It was not easy at all. Most of the times I was not able to take a picture.
why weren't you able to take those photos?
I mean, like several times I went in my neighborhood for a location where targeted by the Syrian forces. So neighbors, people I know since I born. It's affect me. It's make me very sad. Like I know what it was very important to show the people what's going on in here, but in the same times, like I mean, if I were with enough people who able to help all the injured, all the people, I was able to take picture. But otherwise, I had to help the people to bring them sometimes to the hospital.
And you yourself must have been extremely afraid. You were there when these shells were falling.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like the fear. It's coming like the first 2-3 minutes. After that, it's gone. I mean, it's not immediately, but with the time, between 2013 until late of March 2018, we were in the same area, the same building, the same daily routine life of bombardment, of normal life. So like the fear, it's in one point it was gone.
Now, you did later seek refuge here in France, and you've continued your photojournalism work here, training your lens on recent French pension reform protests, the Yellow Vest movement protests. How similar or different, rather, is the work that you were doing in Syria compared to here?
Well, like I cannot compare the situation, but like as a photographer, well, I left Syria almost 2 years ago now. I passed by north of Syria. Well, I left Eastern Ghouta at the end of March with around 70,000 people who forced to displace their houses. They left to north of Syria. Then I decided to leave Syria. I crossed the border into Turkey. Until Turkey, I spent 5 months there. Well, I'm refugees in France. When the first time I heard about the Yellow Vest movement, it's make me interested to know what looks like a demonstration in Europe, because I saw what the demonstration in Syria was like at the beginning in 2011. Peaceful demonstration was crushed by huge military. A lot of people arrested. Many people get die. So I was interested to know, like to understand what's look like demonstration in Europe in the same times, like to continue my work, to continue my passion. Yeah.
Abdulmonam Eassa, a Syrian photojournalist, thank you so much for coming on to speak to us on France 24.
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure.